Perfect. Well, hello. My name is Ariel Pizzini. I'm part of the Careers and Professional Development team here at WGU. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to kick off today's Career Quest and Information session about WGU's Insurance Brokerage Internship and Apprenticeship, in partnership with Jobs for the Future and the Council Foundation. During today's session, we'll give you an inside look at the unique opportunity that combines full-time paid employment with dedicated time during the work week to focus on your coursework, along with some hands-on experience in the insurance industry. These opportunities are exclusively available to WGU students with positions in Columbus, Ohio, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Indianapolis, Indiana. And while spots are limited, the application process is straightforward and we'll review those steps during today's session. Before we begin, I encourage you all to stay engaged, take notes, submit any questions again in the chat that you might have, and we can address them during or at the end of the presentation. And with that, I'll turn it over to our presenter, Maria.
Thank you so much, Ariel. I appreciate you making time. And thank you so much all for joining after hours. I really appreciate your time. So my name is Maria Cavilla, and I work for Jobs for the Future. And I've had the privilege of working with the WGU team as well as the Council Foundation in building this really awesome apprenticeship that provides you with scholarship to pay for your degree, pays for work experience in industry, provides with advancement wages as well as a clear pathway to advance in the industry, and so much more. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the program, but please chime in the chat. We have 4 opportunities coming up where we're hoping to hire folks by June. And then we have additional hiring opportunities that will come up later in September. But really want to make sure that I give you a strong sense of what this opportunity is so you can figure out if it is a great fit for you. So let me walk you through what we've got. So let me start with what is an apprenticeship? So oftentimes we confuse internships and apprenticeships. The metaphor that we use is internships are like dating. It's just coffee. We'll spend a couple months together, see if it works out. Apprenticeship is more like engagement. We're choosing to commit to each other. It's a full-time job. I'm an employee. I'm going to pursue a degree. I'm going to pursue all these certifications, and I'm really like leaning into this as my career path. So apprenticeship is full-time job. Oh wait, we've got pictures for this. Full-time job that embeds not just you're getting paid for the job, but that they're committing to providing a wage increase as part of your progress. So it's a 2-year program, and you get a wage increase at 1 year, and then upon completion, it provides work-based learning. So you're working full-time, about 2,000 hours a year, in the job, in the industry, getting experience, learning the lingo, building relationships, building your network. So you're doing the work in the field, building the competencies. Classroom learning, this is where WGU comes in, providing you with a full business degree to make sure that you're getting strong skill sets and competencies that will allow you to advance and progress in your career. Mentorship. We have a dual mentorship model where on one side you have the WGU mentor supporting you through your academic journey, and then at your employer, in addition to a supervisor, you get assigned a mentor whose role it is to really coach you through and support you through the challenges of workplace and make sure that you're being able to succeed in the program. And then industry recognized credentials. Not only do you end up getting a degree, but you also get an industry designation as part of this program. So we've really built it deliberately to make sure that this is a program that is going to drive your growth and advancement in a really supported way. So, then the question is, why insurance brokerage? So we are working with the Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers, and they are struggling because they need more talent. And they realize that they used to only hire people with degrees, and that was really limiting their talent pool. But just so that you have a sense of the level of opportunity, they're projecting about 400,000 insurance professionals to retire by the end of this year. They have a projected 6% increase growth in a time where growth is not projected in many places. This is an industry that's got a lot of stability and career mobility. I've actually been meeting with employers across the country to design this program, and all of them have, well, we expect people to stay in this role for about 6 months to a year, then we look at you to advance. And they're able to really clearly give me a sense of how their staff are able to enter and progress professionally so that you're not stuck in an entry level role, but really being able to advance and grow. So that's why, from the employer lens. But then we have the question of, but what is it? Um, so insurance brokerage, the best way I've been able to understand it is if you think about when Trader Joe's, who has God knows how many employees, or WGU or Starbucks, needs to figure out how to insure their employees and provide health insurance benefits, other types of benefits like retirement benefits, or even insure their properties, insure their events, etc. They go to an insurance broker. So it's not an insurance salesman the way that I usually go to, like Geico, and say, hey, I need a quote for me. It's really much more brokers who are doing that higher stakes, high volume insurance. And because these are requirements that all of these large companies need to purchase, it's not a sales job per se. It's really about analyzing the information, analyzing the client need, and building custom products that align with their need. So a lot of what you're going to be looking at is understanding risk and what risk looks like for each organization, explaining the options, and designing and advocating the right products. So specifically for our June cohort, where we have opportunities in the 4 cities that Ariel mentioned, we are looking for employee benefits roles. And so those are really focused on insurance, on healthcare insurance. So these are going to be who WGU goes to say, okay, I need to insure all my mentors and teachers and professors and IT staff. I have these many humans who need insurance. What package do I get? So that's going to be a lot of the role, and you would not be working alone to be like, well, here's the thing, you really work as part of a team. So they usually have these core teams of 4 to 5 people who work together to respond to client needs. And they design it in such a way that early on you're doing some of the research, some of the pulling things together, and over time, as you learn the business, you're going to do more of the client facing work. But early on, your role is going to be really in building the products, etc. So what are the roles? They are called a lot of different things. They like to call a lot of different things. So there's client advocate, benefits specialist, associate account manager. What we found is that no matter what they call them, they tend to have a core set of roles that are really around like customer service, analysis of information, and really pulling together the product bundles that can be presented to clients, some of that analysis piece, and some of the intricacies of the insurance brokerage world that are required. So that gives you a rough sense of what it is that the brokerage role would look like. So if you're hooked in terms of high value jobs that are in high demand and progress actively, if you're interested in the types of roles that we're hiring for, then let me talk to you about our program specifically. It's a 2-year earn and learn model. You get hired as a full-time employee at one of the firms that we have. And as part of working full-time, they are agreeing to pay for approximately 1 hour per day, so about 5 hours per week, for you to complete your academic coursework to do this work. You're going to receive mentorship and hands-on skill development so that you can build the skills. You're going to earn your WGU degree. You're going to complete an industry designation and an AI certificate. So what does it look like? We're over here in the blue side of my screen in that moment of selection. We want you to really think about this because this is a career choice. Like I said, it's not dating, it's engagement. So we're going to share some information about the industry. We're going to share an online course that gives you more detail about the program, and you'll have access to some industry foundations courses that you can use to learn more. And that, if you are interested, can also help prepare you for the interview because then you'll be able to speak their language better. If you choose to apply, you'll be interviewed by the member firms. If you are selected, you will receive a scholarship to complete the full academic program. You will go through the academic portions of your WGU degree. And embedded in that, we're going to add in these professional industry designations, which are the PEBC, which is Professional Employee Benefits Consultant. And these designations are the letters after the name that folks in insurance brokerage are really looking for. And in addition to that, you'll be working full time and getting that exposure. So that's what the pathway looks like. In terms of degrees and designations, what you walk out with, you get there's a client service and property and casualty insurance course that was designated by the Levitt Group, which insurance brokerage, Levitt Group is an insurance brokerage firm that created this. So it's a part of WGU Academy and you'll be able to complete that. That gives you some foundations to get started. You'll work on your WGU business degree. You'll get the PEBC industry designation and the AI cert. Again, our goal is really to make sure that we're thinking about how is our workforce changing and how are you prepared for those changes as they come your way. So how do we support your success? There's a WGU mentor and a workplace mentor who are working hand in hand to support you. Your employer is going to provide you with onboarding. Many of these firms, because you're going to come into an industry where you have to have some really strong knowledge of insurance brokerage, they're going to provide you with some strong onboarding. Many of them spend upwards of 1 to 3 months giving you initial training to make sure that you know the industry and you know the work. I mentioned the scholarship that pays for 2 years of tuition. Paid time at work, so approximately 5 hours a week to complete your education. Industry designation. Oh, they'll also support you with getting your license. And then WGU, JFF, and the member firms will be collaborating to make sure that you're able to be successful. So we'll make sure that you have the supportive services you need to be successful. I think I mentioned the scholarship only about 5 times. So yeah, all of the training and designations are paid for. either by your employer or by the Council Foundation, who's making a deliberate investment in bringing new people into the field and supporting you in your success. So again, if this type of role fits your vision of what you want to be doing, this is a really providing you a strong foundation to have a strong start, build your network, build your skill set, build your designations and degrees so that you can really advance and build skills that will serve you throughout your career. So, who should apply? I just answered that question. So, if you're interested and this feels like the right fit for you, then what we're going to do is encourage you to apply. So, what do you have to do? After this, Ariel is going to share a link to an online course. I think you may have already received it as well. Complete that online course. We designed it to be less than an hour to just make sure that you have a strong understanding of what the program is. In there, you've got a couple of secret things that will be helpful. One thing is it provides you with access to all about risk or intro to insurance. And those courses have a lot of density in them. I actually took them because I'm a therapist by training and I wanted to understand the industry a little bit better. You can complete those courses because if you're going to apply, you're going to want to speak the lingo. So I really encourage you to do that. We also remind you to work with Ariel and the team at Career Services. When you apply, we want to make sure that your resume is polished, you've practiced your resume, you're ready for the interview. So we encourage you to prepare for that application process. And then we ask you to submit an intent to apply form. It's honestly a practical way for us to be able to connect with you and be able to send you the right application. We've got opportunities in 4 states right now. So we want to make sure that if you say you're in Ohio, you get the link to Ohio. And then you submit that application and go through the interview process. That's really what we're asking. We've got some times. Folks, we've been going around and talking to folks for a little bit. We are close to our deadline. So if you are interested, we really encourage you to move on this pretty quickly. These firms are wanting to hire people by the 1st of June. So we don't have a lot of time, but we have a huge opportunity to get on board. So I would love to say, here's some links to the additional information. Thank you so much for making time. And I'm happy to just have a chat and answer some questions that might be popping up.
Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing. Just such an exciting opportunity, and I really hope that folks after this call are encouraged to apply. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to submit those in the chat. I was curious since we do have a lot of participants who have joined that, might be career pivoters, might be just curious about the brokerage industry and insurance industry. What advice would you have for students who might not have that prior experience, and how beginner friendly is the program?
The whole point is that it's beginner friendly. So we're not asking for somebody who's had prior experience. We're really prepared to give you that first step in. Every employer, I've had conversations with all of the member firms and their HR leaders and talked to them about like, what you're looking for is not somebody who can speak all the lingo and who's been around the block 7 times. What you're looking for is somebody who is eager to learn, is able to problem solve, and whatever job you've had to do this analytic, how do I solve a problem? How do I meet a customer where they're at? How do I provide that what they call soft skills and are really the hardest skills that's really what we're looking for, which is, are you eager to learn, working on that communication skills and so on?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. It looks like we have a question from Jade. She's saying, thanks a lot for the insightful info. Maria, how would this opportunity work for someone already actively pursuing a BS in cybersecurity and info assurance, currently in their junior year?
I'm passing that one over to Joyce. Joyce knows all the logistics.
Hi, Jade. I'm glad to hear your question, and I'm glad that you're interested in this opportunity. One of the wonderful things about you actively pursuing your degree is that you may have some of the coursework that we already are including in the program. And so, what we do when that happens is we award some credit for prior learning. What we'll have to do with that is, should you be selected by the employer, we'll just look at your current degree offering and align that to the courses that we're offering in this program as well. As Maria mentioned, there are a few courses that are specific to insurance that are going to be outside of your existing bachelor's degree, but will be included and will be paid for in this program. So while you're completing your bachelor's degree, you'll also get that coursework in insurance. And then if there are any other business courses that may not already be in your cyber degree, there may be a few of those extra courses that we'll want to add in, but all of that will be covered in the scholarship. So want to make sure that you have the transferable skills, but then also get the courses that you need to be able to be as effective as humanly possible and successful in the insurance industry.
And did I mention the scholarship?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Joyce, for answering that question. It looks like we have another question here. Um, what does it take to thrive in the industry? In other words, what do all those folks who are retiring say about what it takes to make a good career in insurance?
I love that question. I've been very curious. As I mentioned, I'm a therapist by training. Um, I've actually talked to a lot of folks, and I'll say I was really surprised because I had my HBO stereotypes of what it looks like to work in this industry, right? Like um, but from what I've seen, I'll say I have encountered so many people who will say the words, I'm planning on retiring in this industry, which I've never heard in therapy. Um, and I've met so many people who have been in the industry for a long time. So I think a piece that they always talk about, and they actually had the HR leaders come together and they have this ongoing collaboration. They're like, the thing that is the hardest is to find somebody who's strong at customer service and analysis. That consultancy skill is really hard for them to look for. And once they have it, they hold on to you. Because it's that, I know that what you want is a circular triangle, but what I have is a circle or a triangle. How do I get you to this place? And so like that customer facing engagement relationship work and that analysis and understanding and problem solving of how do I build that thing that you're looking for, that's really what they're looking for. And what I'll say, which I found deeply entertaining because this is language that they use with me, is the entry level roles, they usually have you in that role for like 1 to 2 years depending. Then there's like a second level, third level, the fourth level, because I'm a workforce person, I ask about wages. Their answer about that fourth level is always, oh, that's private jet money. Um, because as you start having your own book of business, meaning your own clients that you're managing over time, you end up getting percentages in addition to your salary. So these are not commission-based roles, but you get commission in addition to salary. And so at that point, the wages are astounding. Yes. So, to work in the industry in customer facing roles to provide consultancy, you have to have a license. Your first year, you're required to take that. And for the most part, what I've been told is every state has their own licensure process. So it varies. But for the most part, they pay for a 1 to 2 week boot camp where you're going to be heads down doing nothing but class study, class study. At the end of it, you take the test. And for the most part, they have really good boot camps that like get you through so that you pass. And the employer pays for that. Because the positions for June are employee benefits, that is already a part of how they treat onboarding. So it's paid for by them and it's offered to you likely once you've passed the initial orientation piece closer to year 1. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maria. I'm getting so many awesome questions here in the chat. Any other questions folks might have? Feel free to plug those in the chat. I was just curious about the matching process with particular like companies and partners. What does that matching process look like?
We're not doing the matching per se. Basically the Council of Insurance, I'm so sorry, my dog is digging a hole behind me. Oh, you can't hear, great. Um, we've been working with the Council of Insurance Agents and Brokers, which represents something like 200 insurance brokerages, each of them with offices all across the country. And we've basically gotten our first like 7 employer firms who are saying, we're going to give this a try in Carmel, Indiana. And we say, okay, let's talk about your job description. How do you set up your how do you set up your job description? What are the requirements? Who's going to be your mentor? All that stuff. And then they get me an invitation, a job link. So if you live in the area where we have a job posting, I'm going to grab that squeaky toy. I'm sorry, Mama. Please excuse me. Thank you. Okay. So if you live in Carmel, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon, we will send you that link to the open opportunity, and then you apply to that one. The choice is really with the I appreciate your understanding. Yeah, the choice is really with the member firms. They're going to interview you and they're going to decide, are you a fit? And you should be doing the same.
I think one of
Awesome.
the beautiful things about the opportunity is that these employers are specifically looking for WGU students, right? And so one of the things that is really amazing about this opportunity is that you get an opportunity to apply and be a part of a much smaller group going for these initial opportunities. So please do take advantage of that. My dad always gave me the advice, don't turn a job down until it turns you down, right? And so really, that kind of gave me the confidence to put myself out there, even if I wasn't 100% sure about, some of the aspects of it, or, if it felt like it might be a big opportunity, put yourself out there, throw your hat in the ring. It's really nice to be part of a big fish in a smaller pond, right? So I'll leave that at the door. But yeah, I think it's an important opportunity to take advantage of.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joyce. And I really appreciate that little tidbit of wisdom. Definitely good to be open to all opportunities and, until, you find out it might not be the one for you. And this is such an exciting opportunity. Does anyone have any other questions? I want to make sure we make space for folks who maybe might have a question that popped up a little later. If not, and something comes up just after this presentation, please feel free to send them over to myself or anyone here on this team, and I'm happy to make sure it gets to the right person.
Thank
Okay,
you,
well,
Ariel, for this opportunity. Glad that we had the chance to share it with students tonight and look forward to seeing who all applies and folks getting these opportunities. So
Yeah,
thank
thank
you
you
so
so much.
much, Joyce, and thank you so much, Maria. I guess we'll wrap up today's session. Thank you to Maria and to Joyce and Claire on our apprenticeship team for taking the time to present about this exciting opportunity. I will be sharing out the recording of this event shortly together with a brief questionnaire. And your feedback is so valuable to us, and we'd appreciate it if you take just a moment to fill this out. And this event was a part of our Career Quest, our month-long virtual event series where we invite employers, alumni to share opportunities and some wisdom with WGU students and alumni. Please make sure to check out some of our upcoming sessions. We have a really great lineup this week, and I'll share another link to our Career Quest page. Thank you all so much again for being here today. We were so excited to connect with you all today. We hope you have a great afternoon, evening, and we look forward to seeing you at a future event here soon. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.